Hello, welcome to Jadekind Gaming. My name is Adam. Today I have another booster brick of WizKids minis to open up. This time, Pathfinder Battles. It's not the first that I've got, but I haven't gotten a whole lot of Pathfinder Battles, as I mostly play D&D. But still, lots of generic enough figures in the set that look like they could be interesting. So I figure, might as well check it out. I don't know what it is. Booster brick is a case of 8 booster boxes. Throughout the brick, you should get 3 of the rares from the set, I believe. Otherwise, each box contains... each box contains 4 figures. You're going to get 1 large and 3 medium or small. Of course, like with it being Pathfinder, things like the large time dragon, that's going to be like, that's like large size, so really a small dragon, like a rideable dragon. I do find this interesting because this is promoting like the special set with it, but I feel like this gray box was supposed to be filled with the artwork from like the layout of what goes in that box, but they just left it gray. I'm like, yeah, there's some interesting figures in here, so we'll check it out and see what we get. Starting off here. With a broken one. It's like it felt like it was moving around quite a bit in there. Okay. So, this is the Lastwall General. And it's like, how does this go? So there are actually 3 connection points here. The feet and this flight stand all broke off. But it looks pretty clean. So I can super glue that back on and that'll be fine. But you got Mounted Rider, which, as I said, some useful figures in here, and this is definitely one of them. Once I get it put back together, some sort of cavalry unit general with a big cape and sun, mace, a banner on it. And continuing here, so it seems very small, we have, okay, Calgini Slayer, little bitty cloaked figure, some sort of looks like crystal in their hand. Whereas that one seems small, this one seems large. This is, oh, okay. Vanth Psycho Pump. I think I can probably unfurl this wing a little bit. Probably, it just feels like that's probably plastic issue. So warm water will probably fix that and get it a little bit out. But otherwise, weird bird skeleton, which could be undead monster, of course. That could be like weird angel of death with these wings. Like I have a few options of things I can do with it. This is one of the ones I saw. I was like, that one's not like necessarily a specific creature that I instantly comes to mind from D&D, but I could use that for some things. So, and in a very large and weirdly shaped. This is a bit of bubble. We get a figure that is definitely bent. And it is one of the rares. Ooh. Ergotha, Goddess of Undeath. So she will have to unbend here with her skeletal legs. But she is like a skeletal lower torso. that like breaks down and is normal upper body, which could be, you know, half zombie, half skeleton creature. Like, she's one of the rares that I'm like, not really worth a rare spot to me. Oh well. Could still find use for her as just general undead amongst a swarm that looks particularly creepy. Like maybe one that gets up from like they died in a swamp, and like their lower body was in the water, and so it deteriorated faster than their upper body, and so they, as they pull themselves out of it to attack you, there's this skeletal on the bottom, and not like, you know, you can do weird things like that. It's definitely creepy, but spindly legs will need to be repositioned. Going on to box 2 here, which doesn't shake as strangely, so hopefully nothing broke there. Why did I say it? It's my fault for saying it. I shouldn't have said something. Warmonger Devil is also broken. This looks like it's supposed to just be a single connection point, and all these spindly legs hang above it. Again, I can re-glue it. Let's use some super glue, but it's 2 for 2. Definitely looks very mechanical. Ooh, with something weird in its back there. Like that could be like a Zelda style hit area where you have to get around the back to hit the vulnerable spot. But yeah, looks rather mechanical. I don't know what I'd use it for. Definitely a sci-fi game. Maybe something in D&D? Suppose he could just be armored. Okay. Lastwall Soldier. General, common, very useful. Feels a little clerical. It's just a useful figure. Bit of armor, bit cloak. We got, oh, this is another one of the, yep, Calgini Slayers. Number 2. In this box, we finish with Skidjurnar. Weird bat monster flying thing. Kind of colorful, actually. Very pointy legs. I don't know. Another weird one. General monster. In box 3. Let's say that one. This one didn't sound like something was broken, but also there's not even a base for it to be broken off of. So Pathfinder Battles does have occasional, at least some of the older stuff. I don't know if they still do, but occasional set dressing. So grabbing that figure from before, your scale, some sort of bed reclining thing with gold posts that look like maybe dogs. I mean, I do 3D terrain and all, so I'll useful, but it does take up one of the large spots. This one looks nice. This, yeah. This one is stuck in the bubble wrap. It will not come free. There we go. Got it. This is Jyoti. Ultimately, this is, for me, Ergotha. Gotta have more of those bird figures to be able to give options, so there we go. Here we have a ballistic evangelist, but ultimately some sort of almost like chain devil kind of figure. Blue-skinned creature covered in chains with some sort of hook weapon. And being Stalker as opposed to Slayer. Okay. I was like, didn't we get one? So this is a medium-sized creature. Bigger, also very cloaked. This one with daggers. So, rogue-like being. Box 4. Sounds alright. Okay, yes. Wonderful. Okay. So there are 4 large rares in the set. I'm a fan of 3 of them. This is one of the ones I'm a fan of. Empyrean Angel. He's actually bigger than I even imagined, so bring it back. Normal size person for scale. But this just looked like very heavily armored angel, and instead of having traditional feathered wings, has these translucent wings. Almost makes me think of Diablo 2 and some of the angel there. But yeah, so still building up angels and celestials is a little low on that in my collection, I found. So having a cool armored one, very nifty. Plus he wasn't broke, and that's nice. Though he didn't have a flight stand. Lastwall soldier, again. Looks like... yeah, it wasn't present at all on this one, I don't think. But on this one, like maybe the sword blade is supposed to be a different color, like a silver, but it got slightly offset. Anyways, useful. A Formian worker. Little bitty bug guy. Actually, one of the other rares that was nifty was a giant Formian. Oh, and this one is on a little bitty flight stand on there. The legs are actually not touching. Fortunately, it is not broken at this point. Skeletal Speaker. Okay, this is one of the ones that I saw that I was like, okay, that is nifty. And all the ones that I see that they put out were like digital renders, so obviously you don't know how they're gonna look. And at least like one of the things on this one I saw is like, man, I feel like they probably could not really get the text looking like it did on there, but they did. And obviously some of the finer details on the paint aren't the same as the digital render, but they did get that text in there, which is the thing I was like, I don't know if they're gonna be able to do that. So just interesting undead variation. And moving beyond our halfway mark here with box 5. Awesome, awesome. Another one that looked cool to me that I'm like, I am missing. Androsphinx. I don't have any sphinxes. So... and you know what? Until just this second, I'm like, I don't know that I'll need one. But I do have a game idea area where I could manage to use the Sphinx. I could make that. I could use that in the game. I know a game I could use that in. It'll be a while. That'll be late game, but could be interesting to pull it out. And we have our Tagini Creeper, so another very cloaked figure. So at this point we've had one that looks like maybe it's like a halfling or gnome. We've had one that looks like a humanoid. This one is on small base, so I guess another halfling or gnome, but almost like the body style is a bit more stout, like a dwarf, but yeah. Okay, another rare. Worm Swarm Sorcerer. Another one I could use in a game. And that's... I just cannot focus on the detail really. Because there is... there you can kind of see here just like the texture in the skin. It looks like just mounds of worms. Red worms. I do not like worms. But the creepiness is part of what makes them good for the game, if that's what you're trying to invoke. And here, Lastwall Paladin. This one definitely needs to be rebent, but okay. He just comes out hiding behind his banner. He's supposed to be holding it high above his head proud, but instead he was hiding behind it. So again, useful PC figure, for sure. Armored soldier character. Box 6. Okay. It's one of these dragons here. Oh, and he's got a seatbelt. Come on, Mr. Dragon. Okay. This is more of the modern style flight stand. So they must have done this set around the time they were transitioning over. See, this one with this big, beefy flight stand that still looks nice because they have like a natural curve to it that matches the figure, but it didn't break in shipping, is our large gold dragon. Which would make it, I guess, a young adult in my system, although certainly smaller than D&D young adult, but not by a huge amount. Like it wouldn't look silly side by side to it. Definitely a bit smaller, but it would be passable. But yeah, and obviously also a different style. You know, it doesn't have the style of wings that D&D gold dragons have, but you know, obviously have variations. It's all fun. Very shiny. Also in this set, that gold dragon is not... That's just an uncommon. Lengul. So yeah, the gold dragon does not use up a rare spot. It's like a little bit of a monstrous take on a... Like more monstrous take on a ghoul. A skeletal soldier, obviously useful. All sorts of undead in numbers and in variety are useful. I mean, I've played games where you end up filling them. How big's your battle mat? I need that many spaces worth of skeletons. So let's let those casters with their area of effect spells finally get use out of them. And Vasistas. Formian Warrior. So another of those bug creatures, a bit bigger this time. medium-sized. The spear. Again, all these bent things can be fixed by running them under hot tap water and bending them back and then putting them in some cold tap water. Our penultimate box. Okay. But yeah, I guess that one's not gonna... Although that one did come out of its seat. It's not seated properly there, but it's pretty secured down to its base. Rolling oil. But got ourselves an ooze option. And of course, fit our character in it to be engulfed by the ooze. This one's very matte. I've seen some black ooze that are very glossy. This one is very matte colored. Rough textured. We have Whispering Way Cultist. Ooh. Shiny cloak. Interesting looking blade. Almost looks like two blades pushed up against each other. Whatever. So cultists, NPC, PC, villain, whatever you need. Another Langul. Suppose if you're going to use them, that seems like a kind of creature probably could be a swarm beast. And last one in here. Oh, it's coming out. Let's got it. Skeletal Samurai. So undead from a different culture. Sure, why not? Either undead in a different region, or maybe just some traveler to denote this is some traveler that got killed and turned into an undead here. Final box. Full more figures. Also doesn't sound broken. It was just those first two. Oh, and is this one not broken and it had the flight stand? So 1 out of 3 with this little bitty flight stand that's, put in the box standing upright. I'm sure it doesn't help. It's only 2 connection points, and this one survived, so they weren't completely futile for attempting to make that work. This one is a weird one. This is one of the ones I saw in the set that I was like, do I want to get this set? Because this is weird. I don't know what I'd use this for. Nakalavi. It's clearly, I guess, some sort of undead or something. Or maybe demon. It's like a muscular structure, so there's no skin. And the rider is muscle coming out of the back of the mount. So it's one creature, rider and mount together. No skin on. Creepy. Got. Oh, Drugger. So, I've played through my fair share of Skyrim. I know the Drugger. Minimal detail on the face, but a little bit. Another of the ones I thought, a little weird. Nosoi Psychopump how beefy of a flight stand for such a small creature even. They gave less beefy flight stands to things that were much bigger. It's like a bird, but it has an extra set of wings. And I'm like, when am I going to need bird with 4 wings? I do not know. But I have it now. And finally... Oh, looks like we're actually ending. There's no base in here. Ending on another piece of scenery. These are the Canopic Jars, or whatever. So, yeah, they sit down. And they're just little jars with like monstrous looking heads as the lids. Which, I mean, little set details like that are useful for me. Because, like, it's not, like, the main things I'm going into the set to get. They feel a little weird. Like, but they're useful. I end up using them because I like decorating the sets. And I like putting in detail for players to find. So, useful. Super excited to get the big old angel. The other winged thing I said could be Angel of Death or Undead or whatever. That one's cool. Something for me to use as another Ergotha PC option is nice because I have like, what, maybe 2? I think I have 1, but I might have 2. The Sphinx is good. The Worms guy is creepy and might be useful. The Skeletal Speaker, I'm impressed with. He was one of the ones I looked at, like, the digital render, and I was just like, they can't do that good. And I'm like, but they did very close. And then a number of just useful ones to use as either PCs or NPCs. Only real disappointment is the couple that were broken, and like I said, I can fix them, but well, it's a little bit of an older set, and they've figured out better ways to do flight stands since then. But yeah, I'm just continuing to build my mini collection as I work towards being able to have 3D minis for just about whatever I need. Just about whenever I do my games. So I'm enjoying it. I'm going to keep collecting them. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye.